You guys hear that they arrested the devil? Yeah, they got him on possession. What's going on, YouTube? It's a bit of a weird video because this is a video on the stuff that I won't make a dedicated video about, or at least that I have significant reservations about making a dedicated video about, as well as the 20,000 subscriber video. So that's very exciting. So a lot of stuff to cover in this video. What obviously I'm going to talk about today are topics and things that I either don't want to talk about for obvious reasons, and we'll start with the most obvious and work our way down to the least. And then just to answer some questions that you guys had, and just have a fun old day with a little video for you guys. This first one is offered to tons of content creators across numerous platforms, and that is gold/item/service selling websites. Now, you've probably seen a lot of people, depending on the type of content that you watch, advertise different websites, but I generally don't like this whole concept because, one, it breaks the rules, and then two, there's nothing to say that you won't get scammed if I put forward a website that I personally don't use because I wouldn't want to risk my account using it regardless. I mean, what happens if something bad happens to you and you don't get paid? You know, I'm putting my name on something that I myself can't even test to see if it works because it would go against what I want to do with my account. So even if I was okay with people, breaking the rules, who's to say that they won't get scammed? This actually right here is just eBay. This is not a specific website, but even here you can see that it's plentiful. And generally we get YouTube offers, we'll get your generic Raid Shadow Legends ones, we'll get ones for other mobile games that we, enjoy other services, websites, yada yada. One of the most common one though for content creators of MMOs is websites where you can buy stuff for an MMO. Looking at some of the ones previously, not going to shut any of the names out, but it not only sold ESO stuff, but they would sell RuneScape stuff, Final Fantasy stuff, blah, 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 blah. It's just not something I ever wanted to put my name to, and you can't really trust those websites to deliver on what they say they're going to deliver on, and for that, it's just not something that I could do. And obviously, they would want a dedicated video, advertisement, me endorsing it, and that's just so risky, especially... Fun fact, you might see this on YouTube for different casinos if you get YouTube or Facebook scam ads. I call them scam ads because they basically lie in the actual ad. And it will be for like a casino where it'll say you can win all these thousands of dollars a day. And it will say one casino name. And then, a week later, it'll say another casino name because they'll just reuse the advertisers, which could be mine endorsement of something, and then just completely... Put a different name to it, a different website, and to me that is uber sketchy. This next one admittedly is weird for me because I think that on one hand I think it's fine, on another hand I think it's iffy, and that is people who either want to advertise things such as trial runs, achievement unlocks, and things like that, and either for ESO gold and then for real money. So the real money thing is a bit separate. If you were going to pay like $50 for somebody to get you some exceptionally hard achievement, I think that's on a separate category than if you were paying for ESO gold to run through a different trial or something. The reason that I don't generally talk about this stuff is kind of twofold. One, it's a very hotly contested topic. For those of you who are like, what do you mean? Well, if you have an achievement that you think is rare, and you probably do have achievements that are rare, but then people find out that you bought ESO gold for them, people might not be as, it kind of devalues them in some sense. A lot of people feel that, people should have to actually achieve stuff on themselves before they can use that achievement. And I get that understanding totally. And I generally don't jump into this controversy because it's one of those ones where it's like there's no real right, wrong answer. So I don't want to come in and say, actually, if you earn the ESO gold, you should be able to buy whatever that earns you. But then when it's like you could swipe your credit card and become a god slayer, it's like, well, anybody could do that if they had money. So therefore, that does devalue the achievement. I don't like getting involved in these sorts of controversies and debates. More importantly, though, the achievements that I do have, I don't want people to be like, well, if he's sponsored by a place that will run him through anything, maybe he didn't earn these achievements, and that could also devalue my interpretation of my own achievements, and I never really wanted to get into those muddled waters. And as we move down the list towards things that are less controversial, just want to point out one that we'll use a goofier example too, and that is selling runs. Now, why I have actually made a video on this, but I don't really talk about it as much anymore as a viable gold making strategy, is twofold. One, there's a lot of ESO places that have rules against advertising this, and therefore that could mean that I couldn't post my video there or get in trouble for doing so, which I have in the past. The second thing is there's just quite a few people that think that this is cheating the system in some sense. And let's give an example, right? We'll use a goofy example, then we'll use a real example. So Medusa Fire Staff used to be really good, right? Sticker book didn't exist, and people used to really want that fire staff. So me and my friends were first running it. Sticker book didn't exist. One of my friends bought it from my other friend, because you could obviously trade people that you're in a dungeon with. He bought it for like 500,000 gold, right? And then the sticker book system was created. You're always guaranteed to get a piece that you don't have from a boss that could give it to you. So for example, all of the non-final bosses give you armor pieces, so you guarantee to get a piece of armor if you didn't already have all the armor pieces from the 3 sets that would be here. Then the final boss would give you a curated drop of a weapon or jewelry piece that you didn't have. So what people would do is they would unlock the entire sticker book except for the one piece that they wanted to sell, and then they would give that to the other people for a chunk of money. Now, you might think, seems a little goofy, but why is this a problem? And I agree generally that it's not a problem, because I made a whole video on it at one point before I got some blowback. And it actually not comes down to sets like Medusa. It generally comes down to stuff like the Master's Inferno staff. So instead of like, you selling a specific drop, it sometimes morphs into you being carried through a dungeon, or you joining at the end of a dungeon and getting the arena piece, because not all arenas are solo, and you getting those pieces, and people thought that now people are getting weapons that they didn't have access to, and it just became a whole rigmarole. So I made a video covering it. I generally don't talk about it since then, just because it's become such a hotly contested thing. But it is important to know, I think, if you have a specific uncurated drop that it's worth a lot, you can sell that in zone chat to other players. Obviously, we used a goofy example, and then we used a more serious example, but it's just the truth. This next one almost became a video until I was actually watching a soccer podcast, and then I realized that this might not be a good idea. You might think, how does a soccer podcast affect your ESO video content creation? And it impacts it like this. So I watch a bunch of ESO content. I watch a lot of soccer-related content, obviously. See the jerseys behind me. So I was watching a podcast where they ranked other soccer podcasts or football podcasts. I'm only saying soccer so you understand that I mean European soccer. Please don't castrate me in the comments. And they ranked them all. And then I watched my other favorite soccer podcast, and they were complaining that they only were in the A tier and not the S tier. So this jumps into the next one, which is, I thought was a great idea. Jake, why don't you rank all of the other ESO content creators? And then at one point I was like, wow, that's a great idea. And then I realized, might not be a great idea. Because, for example, I could say somebody's A tier, they probably think that they're S tier. I personally would not even put myself in the S tier, but I didn't want to start any controversies between myself and other people, because let's be realistic, when it comes to video making, there's other people that do better things. There's other people with different types of information that I think are incredible. I think that there's people who do types of content that are great in a specific niche, but then, would I give them S tier because they're the best of that niche, or would I have to take off points because they only focus on that niche? These are things that originally I thought that, would be interesting conceptually, that I realized would just be way too much of a headache to try to do. And because you're grading other people's content, they probably would feel some type of way about it. I also thought about this too when it came to giving out advice for other content creators to watch. I think generally, if you ask me a very specific question like, Jake, what is a good PvP YouTuber I could watch? I would give you an answer. If you said, I really want to know about tanking, I would give you an answer. But generally, if you say, like, who do you think I should watch? I said, I will suggest to you, try to look up something very specific on YouTube and see what generally has a lot of traction, Like if you're interested, you know, in like how to farm XP, generally my answer is just look whatever video's recent, not necessarily what content creator made it. So that it can become a little convoluted. It can become very dicey very quickly, which is why we've not gotten or dived into anything like that recently. Then this next one is one that I probably will make videos on because generally these conversations happen all the time. And that's either why don't you have a video on this or will you make a video on this? And it comes down to builds. Now, generally, I can tell you what works for a build and what won't work for a build, even if I've not used it before. But if I'm going to make a 10-minute dedicated video to something, I want to actually have used it, and I just generally don't experiment with especially other classes. Like, I made my 42-minute, video on utilizing the sorcerer, and then from there, it can become a little bit, like if I don't play the Templar that often, do I really want to make a Templar video? Stuff like that. I think that if you're making a guide on something, like you yourself should be using it frequently or be very confident with it. Because like, say for example, I make a 1-bar Necromancer build because logistically, I think, yeah, this is a good build, this will work. But then you start asking me questions in the comments below, like, hey, I'm in Cyrodiil and blah, blah, blah is happening. Or, during dungeons, blah, blah, blah is happening. And I've not experienced it before. I can't give you a good answer. So I generally try to want to know all of the facets. Where if you came to me and asked me anything about a sorcerer, you said, Jake, what if I use X, Y, and Z set? I could say, I probably used that set before. This was the outcome, This is what I struggled with. This is what went well. If you use this and change it to your playstyle, this might help you, Hey, instead of changing that set to this set, maybe change your Mundus Stone, maybe change the traits on your whatever. I'm very confident about that. And I only like to make videos about sets that I'm confident in, because I think that you look really goofy when you just start cranking out videos to crank out videos, because you're like, well, this set's good, and this will go with this class. Just boop, take a PvP montage of me, throw it over it, and bada bing, bada boom, we got ourselves, a nice little video. I just personally don't like that, and I think it's just a risky rabbit hole to go down. I know that, I'm not the ESO expert, and I don't know everything, and I will never claim to know everything, but it just seems like a lot of people sometimes, not saying everyone here that we've showed will do this, will sometimes either feel the pressure to, make a whole bunch of videos, on topics and things that they're not fully confident about, or they start making, videos just because they're like, hey, I'm sure this will work, but then they don't have the ability to go in and help out their viewers who are trying out their build and then are saying, oh, this is not going well, or I'm struggling with this, and they can't help them. And I always want to be able to respond to comments and be able to give you guys feedback when you want it. And finally, we're going to finish up with a funny one. And I'm trying to figure out actually a way to where I can do this video type, and that is more of like active open world Cyrodiil live streams. And the reason that I don't generally do active PvP in my clips is more so like this right here is my computer screen, which is hardwired through to basically show my console. So like, here's the Xbox controller. You can see I'm wiggling around, and then right in front of me is the computer monitor, and it's on like, half-second delay. And then behind me is my TV screen. Well, the problem is that it's very hard to play some PvP when you've got a delay, and I'd have to like look, I have to take the mic here, I'd have to like look this way to actually see the TV fully, because I can't really see it past the monitor. So I've not been able to figure that out easily. I mean, I'm sure I could turn off the webcam and whatnot, but I don't know if that would like keep to the same, authenticity of the live stream. I don't know. It would, hurt some of the overlays and stuff. So I've been trying to figure out a way to get around that. I was thinking about trying to put the webcam on top of the TV and then zooming it in, and then I could turn this and just have this like beside me to where I could see the chats and stuff, because that's where it comes down to. You need the computer screen to see the chats and whatnot. A live stream is, not very good if you can't see the live stream. So it's a logistical problem for a console player, because the ESO is not playing on this computer, it's playing on the console. And to those of you who suggest that I play ESO on PC, no. I've made way too many friends on Xbox just to be like, sorry guys, gotta go join the mainstream. I played on PC, made a bunch of friends on console playing other games, and then replayed together on you know, Xbox. Can't just give them up that easily. Even if some of them don't like to proc their Kinras or any of the 5-piece sets that they're wearing when we're doing any sort of PvE content, you still can't get rid of them. You know, they're your homies and you're stuck with them. But everyone, thank you guys so much again for watching. Bit of a weird video topic, but one I thought was kind of interesting, because I thought, it was like, you know, when people ask questions or suggest video ideas, maybe knowing this stuff ahead of time would be helpful to know. Plus, I think it's kind of cool, you know, talking about things that I have been either offered or asked to cover. You know, you don't understand how many websites there are that want to sell ESO gold that will reach out to me and be like, listen, you know, we'll give you blah blah blah, you know, amounts of money, you know, if you just post this website out to people. And I'm like, no thank you. You know, it's my luck that there'll be those same people watching this video right now, and they'll still reach out to, you know, and say, hey, you know, what'll it take? That's what it's like when it comes to advertisers. But, and more importantly, I hope this helps just kind of, you know, cover some fun topics for you guys. And I want to know what you guys think in the comments below. Special video, first main video since 20,000 subscribers. So much to cover, though. It's kind of crazy. We have to talk about the Jubilee event because it's, you know, 10-year anniversary of ESOs coming up. And we're doing the Jesters event right now. The Jesters event is literally active right now. Isn't that absolutely fantastic? So there's just so much going on, and obviously I'll be at the 10-year anniversary, so we'll be able to see some cool stuff, and hopefully we can find out about Q3 and Q4. And I'm sitting on the panel. I picked the panel that had the encounters designer, I want to say, the PvP person, and then somebody else is also, oh, the art designer is going to be the 3 people on the panel that I'm going to be on. I'll be able to ask questions and stuff, obviously. So if you have questions that you want me to ask people, funny enough, last year I was able to talk to the art developer, and he was the one that gave me the most intel on this year, because I had asked questions like, you know, can you tell me what color scheme, you know, 2024 is going to be? And he said autumn. And well, you know, that led us to Valenwood, and that led us there pretty quickly. So, you know, it helped us get, you know, there faster than some of the other content creators, which was really cool, because it's nice to be able to ask those unique questions, not the generic, like, what's going to happen next year? You know, what can you tell me? Because, you know, they get asked those types of questions a lot, and I'm sure they're trying to keep things on the DL. But when it comes to giving you breadcrumbs, they'll give you a breadcrumb. But more importantly, we'll find out Q4, big PvP event, Q3, big housing event. Hopefully we'll find out about what that stuff is, because that will be awesome. And for the first time ever, a console player will be able to play test something on PC at the same time as other PC players. Crazy. That's one thing I never quite understood. Maybe that'll be one of my questions. Why don't you just release the updates at the same time? I've always wondered it, but I've never asked, because it's like, why? Like, Arc has crossplay servers and console servers, and the updates at the same time. Granted, one did release a month earlier because of bugs and stuff, but it can't be that convoluted, right? But you never know. So, and this has been a bit more of a rambly video. Some of you may argue that they're all rambly, and to that I say, well, you just watch too many of them. But it was fun. It's been awesome to, I mean, our first ESO videos were created on a phone. I did mention that I was going to talk a little bit about the video making process and what I used to do. So I'll show you what I used to do, because it used to be painful. We'll wrap up the video, and obviously if you noted the gift card code at the front of the video, there's also one right now telling you to go to a different place, because I am posting it there. So stay tuned for that. Look in the words on screen, and let's talk about how I used to make some of the old ESO videos. So what I used to do to make ESO content videos is I would live stream on my Xbox, and what I would do is I would have my headset right here plugged in, and then I would talk, and then I would end the stream, and then I would go to Twitch on my phone, and then download the stream, the live stream, and then chop it up. And the biggest problem with that is it becomes really hard to, you know, like, if you make mistakes, you can't just chop it up as easily, and you're very susceptible to leaving in mistakes. And plus, when you, like, so imagine this phone right here, you're trying to edit stuff on it. It can be really hard to, like, make fine-tune edits, like, in timing when you're using a phone. Whereas right now, I can enhance a single second clip, out like this big and then chop it up right to keep the dead space from there. Not that I'm always worried about dead space because my videos are pretty, repetitive, but say I make an error and I'm like, we'll just cut over that. I have to remember that there's an error at that point and then go through and then chop it up. The other problem with this too is the audio. It's very hard to make audio sound nice when you're recording on your Xbox headset. It just would always seem like I was sounding like Lois Griffin. Now I just sound like I'm Lois Griffin with, a noise gate and one of these bad boys here to help. But it's one of those things I don't think I ever fully get over, is listening to my own voice and seeing myself. I think that had become amplified by the fact that, when I played Ark, there's some people who were very upset at my tribe, so they watched my ESO videos looking for funny pictures when my face would be like, woo, and then they would screenshot it and put memes over it. So I was like, that's fantastic. But then it's like, it is what it is. I'm so happy to be editing on an actual computer screen. It's made it to where I've been able to do so much more with it, because it used to be so convoluted trying to even like read scripts and stuff. Now I can take, short clips into segments, talk about a segment, and then I can move on to the next segment. So it still has that free flowing conversational style, because that's really what I want my style to be, is more conversational. Because my whole reason for making ESO videos is my friends didn't understand certain concepts. So this was my way to be like, well, this is like how this makes sense. This is how you do this. This is how you do that. It's not like this uber scripted, cut-ins with all these little gag jokes and overlays and things. It's like, you're listening to somebody trying to, explain it to you like they're talking to you, not talking at you. So I've always liked that style a bit more, especially for other games. Like, when a content creator is like, hey, you want to find some good shit? This is where you go. And then they're right there. And then I say, this is what you're going to get. This is what you'd have to kill on the way there. This is why you want this. And then boom, you're done. Not like, what's going on, YouTube? Today we're going to be talking about the most overpowered item in the game. Now, make sure to like and subscribe and share this video to all of your friends, because this item is absolutely busted. Now, to get here, you're going to have first completed, I never liked that style. I feel like it was too wordy. I also don't ask for like and subscribes at the beginning of my videos because, you guys subscribe and you like a lot of the videos. It just feels like, we don't need to bloat the runtime. We do that enough with our ramblings, and at least I can argue the ramblings are somewhat helpful. I've always thought about different things to cut from videos. Maybe I don't need to give as much background on certain things, but even then, it's like, I want to give background on things, like there's a lot of people who don't know where the Infinite Archive vendor is. So if I don't show it at the beginning of the video, there will be some people that don't know genuinely where it is. Same with the Golden Vendor, the Furnishing Vendor. If I don't go over where it is, people won't know. And then if I don't explain why it's important, people won't know why am I talking about ESO furniture? Who cares? Like talking about the fact that people resell, talk about the fact that it's exclusive, talk about the fact that it's, it's only available from this time frame to this time frame, what furniture pieces will sell well, what ones won't, is there anything decent, those are all things that, like, if any video could be somebody's first time hearing about something. And that's where I always like to go through that, what would they want to know if this was their first video, even if this is like the 100th version of this video that I've made, especially with the Golden Vendor video. But I always hate the people at the beginning of videos like and subscribe and then share the video, and then the last fact will, is crazy, you'll never guess, the ending. You'll never do, like, if you've ever watched any of those, like, Facebook, TikTok, YouTube shorts, there's so many of the 5 best, ESO weapons. The last one will surprise you. It's like, oh, you just want me to watch the whole time period. Because yes, YouTube does gauge your video success based on how much they watch in the first, I think, like 90 seconds. So, and shorts obviously is different because they're shorter, but it's the same concept. They monitor for, I think, 45 seconds and then 90 seconds, and they gauge the algorithm, like, are they interested? Are they watching? That's why I open with a pun, because it feels a little bit more like unique to me versus like, hey guys, today we're going to talk about the 5 subjects that I'll never talk about. And the last one after today, I'm never going to mention it ever again. You know, like, be sure to hit the subscribe button. And thank you guys so much. Like, I can't bring myself to do that, even though, like, yes, algorithmically it does work, because obviously people who are younger really seem to do that. But for me, no thank you. Everyone, thank you guys so much again for watching. This is a bit of a fun video, very like short and unique, so it's fun to do. This will be an interesting week too, because while in Norway, I want to do a vlog style video, which will probably have to be recorded on my phone, funny enough. So we'll see how that goes. I might try to bring some sort of like MacBook or something with me. I don't own a MacBook. Maybe I could try to snag one for cheap or something. We'll see how that goes. But we have our weekly golden vendor, which I'll have to figure out what time that's going to be released in Amsterdam. So that'll be a bit convoluted. It'll probably be like 5 a.m. You know, get up for the furnishing vendor. Hang on. What's going on, everybody? There's chairs in store and 5 garbage sets that you'll never use. Good night, everybody. So it'll be fun to do that. I'll do a vlog style video. I'm curious if you guys have thoughts on that. So with 3 giveaway drawings, this is the end of the month, but any comments and anything will go into the next month if you don't see this until after April, or even if you watch this in May. It's all based on when you make the comment. So first thing, leave a comment. Every time you leave a comment, you are entered. If you have thoughts on a vlog style video, I was thinking about a video like, what would it be like if you guys could attend? Like, what would you see? What would you get to experience? You know, like a play-by-play of like all of the things that were there. That way it can be, and if you guys are going there, maybe including some of you in, if you're able to be there, it could be kind of interesting and really cool. And obviously, if you are going, please let me know in my Discord, which is in the pinned comment. And well, sometimes it's deleted in the pinned comment because YouTube hate links. So go to the description more safely. Don't go to the pinned comment. Pinned comment half the time gets deleted by YouTube's algorithm. Second thing is just be subscribed. All you have to do is just stay subscribed. Like, in fact, every time you are subscribed, you are entered, and then you are re-entered every single month. So just be subscribed and then stay subscribed. Super easy. And then the third thing is reflash 2 Amazon cards on this video. So if you're the first person to nab either one of those, I hope you enjoy them, because I know that it's fun to be able to give back to you guys in some different ways. And thank you overall for everything, from being able to go from a phone, which wasn't even this phone, by the way. This is actually a nice phone. The phone that I used to record on was not a nice phone. And so to go from that to an actual computer with a monitor and a background and for streaming stuff that was not here, it used to just be a weightlifting bench and then, you know, nothing else. It's just crazy. So thank you guys so much again. I can't say it enough. I know that I've said it a lot, but you deserve it. You know, you've gotten us to this point. Thank you so much, and I'll catch you later. Bye, guys.
You better remember to like and subscribe to Jake Clips. Or you should. I might have to pluck your eyes if you don't. Or, better yet, I'll skip rope with your entrails. Do it now. Subscribe. Ta-ta. Off with you.